Welcome to Here's How We Get There. It's the daily show filled with conversations about business and mental health in a down-to-earth style with real-world language. Now let's dive in with your co-hosts, Kenneth Shark Kinney and Trey Tucker.
All right, Shark, year one of the Home Services Growth Summit, the conference that you created, organized, put on. It's finished now for at least for this year. And I got to see at least a little bit of the behind the scenes of all the work you put into it. And it was definitely a Herculean effort. So now that you're looking back on it, what was the experience like? Do you think it was a success?
Well, I know I was probably, probably nothing. I was the best out of the whole show. No, putting on my first conference on my dime, 100% start to finish, my responsibility was eye-opening. The level of work is redonkulous. Uh, I did, probably 98% of it. And with all the lead up to it, with sponsorships, contracts, social promotions, email blasts, all the things, speaker selection. I mean, you forget about, as a speaker, I often just go up on stage and I say a few words for a few minutes, but really all the sausage making process that goes into creating one is so much more important than, to make certain that when they're sitting there that they're hearing great speakers, not duds. There were, like any conference, there's always, the ones at the top and then the ones at the bottom. But we had it at the Georgia Aquarium. Amazing venue. I've been in this room. You saw it. There's two massive windows, other than it being a beautiful ballroom, very elegant, very quaint, very intimate. And then you've got two massive windows where you can look into a tank that has whale sharks and sand tiger sharks and manta rays, and then another big window that has beluga whales. It was so cool that people could just take a mental break, but inside the room, and go
Right.
over and just enjoy it, take pictures in front of it. Tons of videos I saw get posted online. Great food, Wolfgang Puck Catering. Great job this is as good of a sandwich as I've ever had at a conference, for example. Salads were great, desserts were great. The people that worked at the aquarium and at the inside the venue with Wolfgang Puck Catering, fantastic. Couldn't have been better, more professional, attentive to the organizer, but most attentive to the attendees. I could not tell you, though, how many great comments I heard from people, especially through all the testimonials that were offered up, that they just love the content. It's so often that you go to conferences where they can stick it on the name or whatever, the logo on top, but it's, oftentimes an agency person overselling themselves and their agency services, or just a lot of content that you don't want to hear. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to actually provide information that was going to be able to, I had nothing to sell at that show. I didn't want to. Shame on me if I didn't, but I made a lot more money from not selling something than from trying to sell something. And then somebody brought up a great comment that I love. Even several people, one of them's a well-known, respected gentleman inside the National Speakers Association. He just thought it was fantastic. He loved the content and all this stuff. He was shocked that I had done this undertaking. But one guy said I put the right amount of softness into the show. So many of the other shows in this space, you hear these people that I give them a name that rhymes with moron. So these morons would often go up and talk about crushing. We crushed it. They weren't crushing it. They just, peacocking around and sound silly. Nobody was up there to do that. They were up there telling you how they were crushing it, but through informative information, not from peacocking and all that kind of stuff that gets kind of silly. And then honestly, the special entertainment on day two, with Mandy Harvey, who's one of my best friends, she's up there singing her, she was on America's Got Talent. She's deaf, and she was doing the whole over the rainbow and teaching people to sign as part of that. I don't know how many people told me that they were nearly brought to tears. So overall, look, if you produce great content, a great mix of speakers, there will be some that are, not perfect, like your presentation. No, yours was great. It was very interactive, intimate. I mean, I don't know. All in all, I think it was an overwhelming success. I've got to figure out a way to up it for a year too.
That's right. I
What
don't
are
know
your
how you're going
thoughts?
to stop yourself. Yeah, all that is the case. The content was great. What I noticed though was not only did you have to plan all the stuff behind the scenes, but you also emceed the thing.
Yeah.
And your presence from the stage actually, that to me was maybe the secret ingredient for the success because you from the stage projected authenticity and kindness. And that caused the other people in the audience to then reciprocate that toward each other. I found it very easy to just talk to whoever, no matter if I didn't know them or for, whatever it was. It was just an immediate kind of a tight knit family feel, and I think because you set that up from the stage was how that got spread. I will say I appreciate you letting me speak, but I thought two things were going to happen. I thought number one, you were going to let me do my dance moves that have made my social media go viral, and I also thought that Dolly Parton was going to be the singer on day two at lunch, but next year maybe.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job as a speaker. Again, I told you I was pleasantly surprised having not seen you deliver a speech in person. Again, I was overwhelmed and thrilled that you didn't bring up Kenny Rogers again or try to sing anything like know when to hold them or I was about to fold them if you had. But
I
all
was
in
listening.
all, just the networking alone and being in an environment like that where you get to interact with people in a space. It really, at the end of the day, we're all trying to figure this stuff out. And the more that we do it together in a great environment and just sort of enjoy being around people and being able to learn and talk to other people, the right kind of people in whatever space you're in. I mean, it's the easiest way to facilitate a great meeting.
Thank you for joining Shark and Trey on the Here's How We Get There show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show and visit here'showwegetthere.com. That's here'showwegetthere.com.